What's going on, everybody? Eric Lindquist at Stochastic here on the OddsShopper and OddsShopper Golf channel with another edition of Lindy's Best 9 Bets. Hit that like button, subscribe button, notification bell as we get going. It goes a long way for me on this video and goes a long way for you because you become a prize whenever great betting content is going live here at our little neck of the YouTube woods. Last week sucked. It was terrible. I was awful, no good, very bad, terrible. I don't know how many more adjectives I can come up with. I could probably come up with a couple bit more. See, even my English is bad. As a result, Harris English played pretty good. Segues. But I got one thing right, and that's not good enough. I'm here to win you guys bets, but part of the nature of golf betting is you're going to have losing weeks in the middle of trying to hit some of these big outrights. Now, I feel pretty good about the card this week. We're going to go 2 matchups, 2 make-miss cuts, and then 5 outrights. We're going top 20 market, top 10 market, and then 2 winning picks. So impossible for me to go 9 of 9. If you're looking to parlay everything together, don't do it. They probably won't even let you because 2 winners together, not going to be possible. But very much looking forward to giving you guys the goods here for the Players' Championship. Probably my favorite PGA Tour event that isn't a major. I kind of like it more than the Open Championship, but we won't tell anybody. Pete Dye, we're talking some crazy golf, some amazing stuff. I've got 9 plays for you, but we also have a new sponsor along for the ride, Bet365. Check them out, 365, damn girl fine. Let me suck it to you one more time. Bet $1. Get yourself everything you could possibly want. It's only available in 4 states right now, and actually, you know what? I will give you a little bit of a read on that later. It's the best deal we've ever ran with any book. $1. $1 gets you $200 of bonus bets. You're simply going to deposit $10 over there. It's only available in 4 states. I'll give you guys the lowdown on that a little bit later, but I want to get to the picks. I got to redeem myself, so let's head to TVC Sawgrass for the Players' Championship. Here are my best 9 bets. For the first hole, we're running it back one more time. It worked out last week. We're going Rory McIlroy over Jon Rahm at even money over on FanDuel, and I get it. Jon Rahm, he's been playing the best golf of anybody in the world here over the course of the last 5 months, 6 months. He's been a top player in the world for the last however many years. He's a stud. But we're talking about Rory McIlroy, who lives in Florida, who's played this golf tournament exponentially more times than Jon Rahm, has more experience on these golf courses. That was the whole reason that I wanted to back him at the API over Jon Rahm, and we saw an absolute meltdown by Jon Rahm off the tee over the course of the entire week. He had the amazing Thursday round, came out of the gates hot, but he lost 6.8 strokes off the tee. When you have high variance golf and you're hitting it in the water, it's going to look bad. When you hit bad approach shots, you're going to make big numbers in these kind of spots. It's very high variance golf when you're talking about TPC Sawgrass. There we go. That's the one. And when we're talking about golf courses like Bay Hill, you get a lot of water, a lot of trouble. That's where I look at the experience of Rory McIlroy. And you just tell me the 2 players that I believe to be 1-2 in the world in any capacity, I'm getting 1 at even money, and I'd have to lay minus 128 to be able to get the other side of it, 126 over on FanDuel being the best number, actually. I feel like Rory McIlroy I'm going to take every time. So we're running it back, the exact same thing that I called last week. Rory McIlroy, give me the experience, give me the familiarity with the surfaces, home state. Everything makes sense for me to go right back to the well. Would it surprise me if Jon Rahm came out and beat Rory McIlroy? No, but even money to be able to figure it out, give me Rory every single time. For my second hole, I'm looking at a very interesting matchup. Half unit there, of course, on the Jon Rahm and Rory McIlroy. I'm going to go a half unit on this one too, but I'm getting plus 105 on a pretty random matchup of Martin Laird versus Gary Woodland. Now, Martin Laird has not been good with the putter. He is historically bad with the putter, in fact. Lost with 4 straight. Off the tee, been pretty flat, a little bit negative in that regards too. Missed 3 of his last 4 cuts. It doesn't look very good. But when you compare him to Gary Woodland, I feel as though getting plus money on anybody with the kind of form and course history that Gary Woodland has here, I am okay with. He's missed his last 2 cuts here at TPC Sawgrass. We've seen him also really struggle with the putter in a much more brutal fashion. Has he been positive off the tees since October of last year? He sure has. But this putter is broken, and I don't know how he goes about to fix it. He missed the cut at the Arnold Palmer, and the irons just disappeared. He will disappear into the abyss if he doesn't have that part of his game. Also lost strokes around the green in 4 of 5. Now, is there a very good chance that both of these players missed the cut and you have an opportunity of being drilled by it? Sure. But if Gary Woodland starts to show any kind of signs of fading with these irons, his putter is beyond broken, even worse than that of Martin Laird. So, pretty random to see the Scotsman on the card in any capacity. I know he's somebody that Eitan Shander, one of my buddies here on the OddsShopper channel, gave a shout out as an outright winner. I don't know if I want to be going that nuts, but Gary Woodland, definitely somebody that I want to attack in the matchup markets. I think he's a little bit overvalued. It's not that books don't understand that he's playing poor golf, but I don't think it's perfectly described how bad he's been on this golf course, along with his current form. So that's 2 strikes against him, 1 against Martin Laird, just in terms of current form there. I think getting plus money on anybody up against our guy Woodland, shout out Jayhawks, Rock Chalk, Jayhawk, no thank you, go Martin Laird. That does it for the matchup markets for now. I want to head now to the make miscut section, and we started off with hole number 3, Cam Young. I screwed up last week. I shorted him across the entire marketplace. I picked against him in matchups. I bet him to miss the cut. And what does he do? He puts himself into contention, and he played some really solid golf. There's no doubt about it. He's just basically going to be terrible with the putter all season long, but he gained around the green for the first time in 5 tournaments. He was decent enough with the approach, gained 2.7 strokes in that department, and best 4.6 strokes gained off the tee over the course of this season. So, all around, decent play. But 1 week of being positive around the greens does not a season make. I'm going back to him. This is only his 2nd time playing at the Players. I think that there's far more missed cut equity this week. That's reflected in the odds place. But as far as I'm concerned, Cam Young, that's a little bit of an outlier to see him gaining with around the green game. I feel pretty good getting something as crazy as plus 225 to miss a cut. This is a high variance golf course. Most Pete Dye golf courses generally are. The Heritage, things of that nature. This is the most high variance of them all, that's for sure. Water lurking across your entire finish as you come down the home stretch. 16, gettable par 5, water lurking right. 17, the island green everybody knows. And 18 is just a beast water left. So, gives you some challenging situations. He's been a great ball striker, but that around the green game, if it starts to fade, maybe he starts pulling out the Texas wedge here and there and kind of can get by, so to speak, not having to chip it around this place. But if anything is awry in his golf game, he's going to be positive off the tee, most likely. But I feel as though getting 2-1, better than 2-1, to back him to miss the cut, with more players in the field this week, same type of cut odds, I feel pretty good about it. Plus 225 to miss the cut, one-time dealer. And now my player to make the cut. We're going to Webb Simpson, and 1 round of golf does not a player make, but that 1 round of golf looked pretty good on Sunday. The former elite player on the PGA Tour brought his best, just completely nuts. 10 birdies in that final round at the Arnold Palmer. First signs of life we've had of him in a while. He is a former winner on this golf course in 2018, sandwiched 2 16ths in between it. Is he coming off 2 missed cuts the last 2 years? Yes. But he's missed a lot of cuts over the last 2 years where he's really, really struggled. And he is a former just stud, winner of the Heritage as well. Another Pete Dye course that comes a little bit after this. Just saying, you want to be early to the party on these kind of numbers, and his make and miss cut odds are almost identical over on FanDuel. I like him to make the cut at minus 118. Think we want to be early to the party on some improved form from a former elite player on the PGA Tour. Attention to everybody in New Jersey, Colorado, Ohio, and Virginia. Yes, those are your 4 states for Bet 365. Yes, New Jersey, Colorado, Ohio, or Virginia. This is the best deal I've ever seen from any sportsbook, period. So take advantage of this. Sign up in the video description box below. It takes you all of about 2 minutes. You are simply going to deposit $10 or more onto that site. And when you bet $1, yes, $1, you're going to get $200 in bonus bets without any sort of attachment whatsoever. $1 gets you $200. I've never seen that from a sports book. I don't know what you're waiting for. So again, if you're in New Jersey, Colorado, Ohio, or Virginia, awesome. You get to take advantage of this. We're going to have other promotions for everybody else coming up very, very shortly, so stay tuned for that. But right now, this was too good to pass up. Bet 365. Take advantage of that. New Jersey, Colorado, Ohio, Virginia. I've said that enough. Continue on. Sign up for that in the video description box below. The offer just speaks for itself. And if you have a gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER. This is only if you're 21 and over. Alrighty, y'all. Back to the picks. Hole 5, and we're already starting up our futures and our outright. So I'm going to the top 20 market, the top 10 market, the win column, because this is a high variance golf course. I want to give you guys as much exposure to be able to hit one of these top plays as we possibly can. And we're going to start off with a top 20 play that I think is a little bit undervalued. And wouldn't you know it, Webb Simpson is that guy. I just talked about him before, former winner in 2018. Definitely found some form on Sunday. Again, just one round of golf. I don't want to go completely bananas over it, but we saw him gain 6.7 strokes gained with the approach. He also gained 4.2 with the approach at the Waste Management Phoenix Open, only resulted in a 57th. And hell, his good Sunday only resulted in a 24th at the Arnold Palmer. But I'm going to the top 20 market because I'm getting 4.5 to 1 on a possible resurgence. Now, both of those fields where he's gained a ton of gained a bunch of strokes with his irons have been elite fields just like this is. Again, I don't think an outright bet is very viable on him. 100 to 1, I guess if you want to sprinkle it in, I think there's better sprinkles to be had. We'll talk about one coming up later. But I think top 20 market, 4.5 to 1, if he's got the form, I won't feel terrible if he ends up top 5ing, top 10ing. I feel like this is the best number available on him at the moment. Crazy amount of irons, and yes, a lot of TPC Sawgrass, the Tournament Players Club there, is all about hitting your irons close, giving yourself those birdie opportunities, not hitting into the water when you're coming in with a long iron on 16. Not hit it with a wedge and a 9-iron on 17. Find the fairway and then keep it right on 18. Lots of ways coming down the stretch where I think Webb Simpson, 4.5 to 1, too good to pass up. I think he top 20s for us. That is the first play in the outright market. And hole number 6, we're going to the top 10 market, and we're going to highlight Tyrrell Hatton. Now, he top 5'd at API. He always plays well at the Arnold Palmer, but he's played well all season long so far. 13th at the CJ Cup coming from last year, 6th at the Waste Management, 40th at the Genesis, 4th at the Arnold Palmer. Recent form looks really, really good. Also, he has performed really well at the RBC Heritage. That's when they go to Hilton Head. That's another Pete Dye course. He's got a third there. He's got a couple of top 20s, couple of top 30, a lot of top 30s scattered around the entire board there. So top 10's a little bit aggressive here, but I think this recent form is just better than we've seen in a long time with Tyrrell Hatton. Plays really well in Florida in general. Plus, another guy, when you're getting nearly 4 to 1 on Tyrrell Hatton, just a top 10 over at FanDuel right now, that's kind of too good to pass up. So good combination, decent course history, nothing special, but plays other Pete Dye golf courses really, really nicely. Tyrrell Hatton, keep it going, young fella. Looking nice around the green. The putter can always spike. Tyrrell Hatton, top 10 over at TPC Sawgrass. You want to talk value? Let's talk value. I'm looking at Maverick McNealy across the entire marketplace for this week. Now, young Maverick, just an absolute stud. Broke Tiger Woods' scoring record at Stanford. Does that seem good? Seems good to me. But Maverick McNealy, an absolute stud in the fall season last year, finished out his year with 5 straight top 30s, and 4 of those being top 20s, 2 of them being top 10s at the Shriners and the WWT. Looks great, but 7th at the Sony Open, 31st at the Farmers. Everything was looking great until a shoulder injury derailed him at his home, well, just outside of his home town there, AT&T Pebble Beach there. Had to withdraw from that tournament. Tried to tee it up at the Waste Management Phoenix Open, played terrible, 76 at his first round, and then started off his second round, had to withdraw from that tournament as well. So, doesn't look so good, huh? Well, sounds like the shoulder's doing a lot better, and because it's a TPC golf course, professional players on the PGA Tour can go play and practice there for free whenever they want. He's been there for over a week already. Now, generally, you're going week to week on the PGA Tour. It's not too far going from Bay Hill up there to Ponte Vedra, but I'm just pointing out, when you're Maverick McNealy, you're coming off injury, and you've been playing the same golf course on the same surface and doing everything the same way for the last week plus, that's a little bit of an advantage over your counterparts. So, I know it's big long shot here. 14 to 1 in the top 10 market, 210 to 1 plus 21,000 in the outright market to win. But if we find any kind of that form from the fall, if the shoulder has recouped, maybe there's some rust, but maybe he's just been playing there every single day and everything comes together for him. So you play out this golf tournament 14 times. I think he top 10s at least once. And that is good enough for me to make that an even bet. So It really projects out as a young player that I think is going to have some success going forward in his career so long as he's healthy. So at these kind of odds, this is just a long throw, long shot type dart that I like to take. He's sprinkled it as an outright play, but I want to prioritize him on the scorecard. 14 to 1. 14 to 1 over on FanDuel to top 10 from Maverick McNealy. Hole number 8, I'm coming to you with 2 winners here, and I want to start with Sungjae Im as a player that I'm highlighting. Sungjae, the all-around nature of his golf game, always plays well in Florida. That's kind of his MO. But he's been gaining across the board for the last 50 rounds. We're talking 30th strokes game, short game, 13th off the tee, 28th around the green, 14th total in tee to green. So many great components to Sungjae's golf game. And I just think when you're talking about a high variance golf course, you get a guy like this who puts himself into the mix, and a lot of good things can happen. Now, his irons have been a little bit off the last 3 weeks. He's lost strokes in all 3 of them. But before that, 7 gained with the irons, 4.2 with the irons. That resulted in a 4th at the Farmers, 6th at the Waste Management Phoenix Open. So I think he gets himself into the mix, and I could look in the top 5, top 10 markets. Decent enough numbers. I think the plus 350 in the top 10 market over at Caesars makes some sense, but they also have hung 35 to 1. Both of my outright plays that I'm prioritizing for you, outrights at 35 to 1. He is the first of them. And the last play, hole number 9, I'm going to Will Zalatoris as an outright play here this week. Now, this young man does not make himself available on my betting card very often because I'm generally having to pay 20, 25 to 1 to play him. Absolutely not. But he's now looking 35 to 1 in the marketplace, and maybe that number even extends a little bit further on Wednesday. I put a little sprinkle there already, but I think he's going to be my highlighted player, the guy that I'm building around the most this week, because I just like what we're starting to see from his all-around golf game. And last week, I'm going to write it off. The greens, we heard Rory complain about them. They didn't look great as far as rolling last week. TPC Sawgrass, traditionally, not a lot of complaints from the players when it comes to the surface type. So, 3.3 strokes gained. He lost last week at the Arnold Palmer. Before that, he had been positive with the putter in every tournament. Even with that loopy stroke that everybody likes to highlight, he is positive with the putter in every single tournament, going back to the Wyndham. Yes, the Wyndham. We're talking August of last year. That's an insane 7 straight tournaments for Will Zalatoris. Now, has he had the injury issues? Yes. Has he been going through some swing changes? Absolutely has. But he's still found ways to be very, very positive with the putter in every tournament for the last 6 months. He also has been gaining a ton off the tee, even finishing 53rd at the Arnold Palmer, 4.7 strokes gained off the tee. He had 3.9 the week before it at the Genesis, finished 4th because everything across the board was positive, gained 10.2 strokes gained tee to green. That's the kind of stuff that is going to result in a win a lot of the time. John Rahm played awesome. Max Homa played awesome. It putted like a god. There were going to be no people that caught up to them during the course of that Genesis. But Will Zalatoris, if he gets that kind of ball striking out at TPC Sawgrass, I think he could show up in the winner's circle. So at 35 to 1, I'm willing to find out. You should be too. And that does it for another edition of Lindy's Best 9 Bets. Let me know in the comment section below what you think of my plays. Don't forget, if you're in New Jersey, Colorado, Ohio, or Virginia, congratulations. You only have to put $1 into anything on Bet365. You're going to get yourself $200 in bonus bets. And if you have a gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER. All right, y'all, I'll be back next week. Until then, I'm Eric Lindquist. Best of luck at the Players' Championship this week.